This past week's Miami Grand Prix resulted in a lot of penalties for Kevin Magnussen and a lot of penalty points on his super license. So what exactly happens when somebody hits the not-so-magic number of 12, and where is everybody else sitting? Kevin Magnussen. Love him or not love him, you can pretty much guarantee he'll always make a boring race entertaining. Not that Miami was boring, it was pretty rad actually, and I would have enjoyed it more if I hadn't known the result before I had the chance to watch it. Normally, on a Monday, I'm pretty safe to jump on stuff, check the local and international news headlines, know that even if I do accidentally scroll down as far as sport, that it's pretty unlikely there will be anything F1 related at the top, and just carry on with my day unspoiled. Yesterday, this was right at the top, below the headline news story. Great, thanks, love that for me. But yeah, whatever. Before we get into the repercussions of a race ban for Magnussen, let's take a quick look at where everybody else is on the penalty points table. Alex Albon, Pierre Gasly, Charles Leclerc, Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris are all sitting on no points. Carlos Sainz and Esteban Ocon are both sitting on 1 after picking up those this past weekend. On 2 points, there's Nico Hülkenberg, Daniel Ricciardo, Max Verstappen, Valtteri Bottas and Zhou Guanyu. It's worth noting that both Zhou and Hülkenberg's expire in the next couple of months. On 3, there's Yuki, the newest of which expires in August. 4 has George Russell and Lewis Hamilton, all of which expire this year. 6, there's Fernando Alonso. 7, Lance Stroll, and Logan Sargent and Sergio Perez both have 8. K-Mag has managed to accrue an astronomical 10 penalty points on his super license this season alone, and not even the entirety of this season, since Saudi Arabia. That's 10 points in 5 races, and he's going to have to wait until March next year for the first 3 to drop off. That is a heck of a long time for a driver as aggressive as Magnussen to keep his nose clean. So I think it's safe to say, with Haas's take-no-prisoners approach to grabbing at every possible point, and Kevin's grudging but resigned acceptance of how his skill set can be utilised, Haas is probably willing to throw an entire race weekend for him in the bin, if it comes at the cost of one of their cars getting a few points and giving them more of a chance at that sweet, sweet prize money. Now, since the penalty point system was introduced back in 2014, no driver has actually hit the cap and had to sit out a race. Now, obviously, in the past, there's plenty of drivers who have received race bans, but not under this current penalty point system. So what actually happens if it does come to pass? Do they just keep getting race bans with every additional point they accrue? Or is it like a rolling system where the older points drop off following a race ban, giving them a little bit more leeway? Well, no, it's neither of those things. And this is why I don't think Haas will be all that bothered if Kevin has to sit out a race weekend and spend it warming a seat in the garage, or just, spending a week on the beach somewhere with his family. Once a race ban has been observed, all 12 points drop off their license, giving them the freedom to start again. So should Magnussen get 2 more points than Imola next time out, and with Monaco being the next race on the calendar, the smart move would actually probably be to take the hit. Not the most sporting one, but the smart one. Take your chances on Nico qualifying well in Monaco and holding on to his position during the race, put a whole lot of energy into getting his strategy 100% right, and let Kevin sit the weekend out for his troubles. Let's just say that I think if Kevin Magnussen finds himself anywhere near a V-carb at Imola, we might be in for some fireworks. And it's not like this would leave Haas fielding only 1 car, because the race ban is imposed on the driver, not the team. There's nothing specific in the sporting regulations that excludes driver swaps as a result of a race ban, and historically the standard is to put a reserve driver in the car. Having said that, we all know the FIA is no stranger to making up rules as they go along. It's kind of necessary sometimes as new things come up and precedents have to be set. So who knows? Maybe they'll give Haas a big old side eye and we'll be graced with yet another clause in the confusing mess that is the self-referential Formula One Sporting Regulations Handbook. All of this leads to yet another opportunity for Ollie Behrman to show his chops in F1 machinery, which would kind of be a big old rip to his F2 campaign, considering the 4th round's being held that same weekend. But if he's F1 destined next year like pretty much everyone seems to think he is, what better way to do it than on a track that absolutely loves to destroy rookies?